The views expressed on Cam, Chris, and Alex Talking Football are not those of End of the Internet LLC, copyright 2012, its affiliates, or any of its partners. If you are offended by the subject of bones, dads, sneaking downstairs, non-sexual hugs, DeviantArt, lanyards, tattooed women, Reggie White, police officers, and individuals who resemble Wes Welker, you may not want to listen to Cam, Chris, and Alex Talking Football. In other words, content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. This is Cam, Chris, and Alex Talking Football.
Imparting her moist lips.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, hang on, crazy pants.
That's her talk, woman.
Featuring Cam.
Sorry. I was laughing at your clothes.
Chris.
His mind brain is permanently rejecting his real identity!
Mind brain?
That's a thing. Shut up.
And Alex.
But someday I'm gonna write a book about this place. A real smackaroony.
Cam, Chris, and Alex Talking Football.
I am drunk, or I wouldn't be talking to you.
Yeah, no, I am shit-faced.
Careful, cause in about 3 drinks you're gonna get all boo-hooey and ask me to pump a baby in you.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Cam, Chris, and Alex Talking Football. This is our too late post-draft evaluation, I guess. We're going to start with the AFC North because we just kind of happen to do that all the time because Alex is a Ravens fan and it's easy jumping off point. It's actually good that we did the podcast this late, I guess, for the AFC North because one of the best picks in the AFC North had some interesting news attached to it recently when Rolando McClain retired. That means that Arthur Brown, who's a big sleeper, won't have any competition going into training camp for the inside linebacker spot.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to have much competition anyway, even if McClain was one of the starters. I mean, you have Jameel McClain coming off essentially the Peyton Manning injury, and a couple of guys that were either undrafted rookies or guys making position switches, like Albert McClellan, sorry. But, yeah, I think, I know when we were sitting on the clock at 32, I was, like, pounding the table for Arthur Brown, and when we didn't take it, I thought there was no possible way that we'd end up getting him, and then lone fucking behold, here comes Ozzie Newsome moving up a second round to take Arthur Brown at pick 56, which was an absolute steal at that point in the draft. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he was the best linebacker in the draft. Best middle linebacker, anyway. And to see him go after guys like Kiko Alonso and John Bostic, I was just dumbfounded. Like, how can teams be that stupid?
Welcome to the Republican Party, man. This is that happens every year. Dumb teams make dumb picks at the top of the draft, and then guys like Arthur Brown fall to the mid-second.
Like they weren't like even guys like Bostic and Alonso. Like I had them late second, early third. So it's not like it was a massive reach. It was just when you look at what else is on the board, it's like what the fuck are you people doing? This doesn't make any sense.
That's where I was.
It's one of those picks that really makes you question the talent evaluation of professional NFL teams.
When people, I know that's the funniest joke in the world is, what do you know? You're not an NFL GM, but like even like I would rather have Walter fucking Trapinski make my picks than Buddy Nix. Like that's where the NFL is at this point. And I know he's retired and Doug Whaley's their new GM, but I mean seriously, I would rather have Walter make my picks than fucking Buddy Nix. He's that bad.
You're saying you want a team of 10 white guys?
Yeah, pretty much, except for the cornerback.
I'm sure he can find one somewhere.
Let's get Jason Seymour out of retirement already. He's 50, whatever, who cares? The only pick that really confused me with the Ravens is I guess they're going to use him as a move tight end, but Kyle Juszczyk out of Harvard as a fullback. I thought that was weird because, they got Vontae Leach, who's the best fullback, in the last 15 years solid.
All right, I need to stand up for this pick because the longer we've gone since the draft, the more and more I'm falling in love with this pick. Naturally, the first thing I did after our entire draft was to go look up tape on the fucking fullback, but
he looks good.
He's a monster. I haven't seen somebody hit somebody like this in fucking Ivy League games in like ever. Like I think that this is one of those picks that year one I think they're gonna use him as the blocking tight end because they really don't have one. And after Vontae Leach's contract is up this year, if he's not a cap casualty, which I've been saying all offseason he might be because he's making $4.3 million this year for a fullback. That's a ridiculous amount of money. But This is a pick where you have a phenomenally talented player at the available at the bottom of the fourth round. Yeah, it's a fullback, but you're the Ravens. You don't have a lot outside. You're going to be running a lot of power running plays, and he's got the ability. He looks like he can transform into one of the better power blocking fullbacks in the NFL. And as low value positionally as fullback is in today's NFL, there's a lot of value in having a very good fullback. It's very understated. I mean, look at what Jerome Felton did for AP last year. It's people don't realize it, but going from a good fullback to a great fullback is huge. And
yeah, and plus, I mean, if you look at his tape, he lines up in the slot like as a receiver.
Yeah,
and he makes bomb ass catches.
Yeah, he's a guy. He doesn't get great separation in the passing game, but he's got sure hands. I mean, if you Heath Miller defend him, he's gonna catch it. I think they're going to move him all over the place. I mean, if you come out in a two tight end eye set with Dixon and Juszczyk at tight end and Vontae Leach in the backfield with that line in front of him, who is going to be able to stop them?
Yeah, I really like the way that Juszczyk has been used, and that's one of the things that I like seeing on tape. It's one of the things that Duo pointed out, is that he's used in a whole bunch of varieties, and I think that really helps the offense for the Ravens, gives them a lot more things to work with.
You said Dixon, you meant Pitta, right? Please tell me you meant Pitta.
Pitta doesn't block.
I thought I said Juszczyk.
No, he was talking to me when
yeah.
I said if they come out two tight end with Juszczyk and Dixon. Because Dixon has actually sort of learned to block. He's at least an average blocker now. And Pitta is just completely lost. It's like watching Aaron Hernandez try and block. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But
I'm still a little jelly that you got Brandon. If we hadn't gotten John Jenkins, I'd be jelly that you got Brandon Williams. He's going to be a hawk.
Oh, he's a stud too. I mean, at this point, I look at this roster and just there's so many defensive linemen on this team. Like, I don't even know how we're going to play them all. I mean,
well, not all of them are good. I mean, you got a bunch of like average to slightly above average linemen, and then Haloti.
Yeah, and you've got Haloti, who they apparently want to play at nose a lot this year. And then, I mean, you've got Arthur Jones really played his way into this rotation. You've still got McPhee, who's still great on passing downs. Obviously, they're having him go back to his rookie year playing weight this year after they had him bulk up to play 3-4 end last year. So
don't they want to play linebacker? That's ridiculous.
No, they don't want him to play linebacker. They're going to use him as essentially a bit 4-3 end, like they were in his rookie year, which is when he was fucking gooning. But I mean, you've got Canty in play on that line. You've got I mean, not that Marcus Spears is anything at all, but you just gave Marcus Spears a 2-year contract if he makes it onto the team. And you've got my boy D'Angelo Tyson, who I still am just absolutely enamored with, and is now going to be like our 8th defensive end. But
What it could mean is that heavy rotation so that none of them get tired.
And I hope so, because I think there were some... Or rather, there have been some fatigue issues along the line recently. I mean, obviously Mount Cody, but I'm not really counting him. But, I mean, when you're relying on Haloti to play every snap of every game, you can see the physical wear and tear it's taken on his body. This is 2 years in a row that he's gotten banged up decently early in the year and essentially had to play at 50% down the stretch. So I think that's kind of, what they're going for. Because, I mean, if you've got a 95 to 100% Haloti Nada for the playoffs, I mean, look the fuck out.
That's a huge advantage, yeah. I mean, at this point, they've got, they've got a solid rotation. They got 6 linemen and they can rotate back and forth, constantly, and none of them are a huge liability if you assume that Brandon Williams is going to be able to come in and play rotational snaps immediately. That's a massive advantage if you're not playing, I mean, I guess except if you're playing against, the Eagles maybe, but other than that, I mean, it's a massive advantage. I still don't know how that Chip Kelly shit's going to work out anyway.
I don't either. I think we'll get to that. As far as the rest of the Ravens draft goes, I mean, I know none of us are high on the Elam pick. I'm not particularly. Okay. That's how I feel about it. It's a
I think
very.
we laughed at it at first, but we were looking for things to laugh at.
Yeah, I was disappointed considering what else was on the board. Looking back in hindsight, seeing that we got Arthur Brown on the second, I'm fine with it. But it's a very high floor pick. I mean, Elam is at worst like an average starter at strong safety in the NFL for the next 10 years, and at best figures out how to not be a colossal mental fuck up and is a really good strong safety for the next 10 years. So, I mean, I get the pick. I mean, he's Pollard day one with the chance to get better rather than, just being Bernard Pollard forever. So it's an Ozzie Newsome pick. This is the guy that takes guys like Ben Grubbs and Todd Heap and Ed Reed at the bottom of the first round. And you see guys that like Ben Grubbs, that had weight issues in college, but was obviously a good guard. At worst, you're going to have a pretty good offensive lineman. At best, you've got a Pro Bowler. It makes sense if you're picking at the bottom of the first.
Yeah. And they added a lot. I don't know how they're going to keep all these defensive linemen on their roster, quite frankly, because they drafted 3 of them.
Well, Cameron Lewis Moore is going to be on IR this year. He tore his ACL in the national championship game. So that was the idea behind that, and I like that. And Simon's essentially going to take Kruger's job. I mean, they're the same player. Simon's going to be like the 4th outside linebacker year 1. He's going to sit around for 2 years and then essentially be Paul Kruger. It made sense. The only pick that we made that I really didn't care for was Ricky Wagner, just because I think he sucks. But
aren't you going to get like a 3rd round compensatory for Paul Kruger?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, we're probably not because we signed Doomerville. So it's going to take our top compensatory, but I mean,
but the Ellerby should cancel that out.
We'll probably get a 4th for Ellerby. We'll probably get a 4th or a 5th for Kerry Williams. I mean,
I think Ellerby will cancel out with Doomerville, and then you get a 3rd for Kruger, which is just God, it blows my mind.
I mean, that'd be nice. I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, didn't Meacham's contract somehow match up with the Vincent Jackson deal for the Chargers and knock out their 3rd?
I'm
not going to pretend to know exactly how the system works, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, right. As far as the other teams in the division, I think the Steelers had one of the most bipolar drafts I've ever seen in my life because they alternated great picks and terrible picks. I mean, Jarvis Jones might be the pick of the first round. I think at this point it's Jarvis Jones or Starr, considering where they went, are the 2 best picks in the first round. Sharif Floyd's probably in that discussion at 23 as well. But you go Jarvis Jones round 1, and then Le'Veon Bell round 2. A guy who ran didn't he run like a 4.78 coming out of Michigan State? I mean, he doesn't really pass protect.
No, he's good in pass protection from what I've heard.
I don't even think that their current running backs are that good, but I don't even see him as a starter at any point down the road.
He is a 3 down back, and he's going to start immediately. And he will absolutely start immediately.
That's what they're going to do. I mean, what I've seen from him in pass protection is he can stonewall Big Ten slow white defensive ends, and that's about it. Like,
he's not quick. He doesn't have quick feet in the pass protect, but he knows scheme. He can do it.
If he gets in someone's way, you're not getting through him. But the issue is him getting in someone's way because he's not a short area quickness guy. I mean, but then, I mean, the Wheaton pick was good. He's going to do exactly what Mike Wallace was, and I'm furious that they got Marcus Wheaton in the 3rd round still.
And Shamarko Thomas wasn't a bad pick, but then they take Landry Jones.
And Landry Jones. Fucking Landry Jones.
Made no sense.
I don't know what they were thinking with that. Like, what do you see in Landry Jones? You have perennially one of the worst offensive lines in the league, which you didn't address again. Which I'm not sure they could have, but you have a guy that can't handle pressure, that can't move in the pocket, which is entirely Big Ben's game. If Big Ben couldn't run around and drag defensive ends out of the pocket and make a throw 30 yards down the field, he wouldn't still be in the NFL.
He'd be dead.
Exactly. I mean, he'd be
in a coma.
Yeah, it's just. It makes no sense for this team. But then you look at what they did at the end of the draft. The Vince Williams pick was a stud pick. The Terry Hawthorne pick was a stud pick. The rest of the guys they drafted, I either know nothing about, like Nick Williams out of Samford. I mean, who watches Samford games? But, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Justin Brown either.
He was decent at Oklahoma, but problem was he never moved up the depth
Oklahoma
chart.
Wide recievers that couldn't move up the depth chart at Oklahoma. I mean,
that's what I was about to say.
It's a 6th-round pick, but But I mean, just looking at it, I guess to go back to the Ravens, I'd probably give the Ravens an A-, and I'd probably give the Steelers. I don't know. I'm hovering between A-, B+, just because of all the impact players they got, even with the 2 total waste picks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I go B+ just solely because I can't give a team that drafted Landry Jones and Le'Veon Bell an A ever. Yeah, but they had another good draft, just like they did last year. I mean, last year their class got ravaged by injuries, but...
Yeah, honestly, based on their draft last year, which I thought was so great, I'm just going to refrain from judging any of the classes. I'm just not going to hand out grades. You'll get, it's not even going to be pass-fail. You'll get a pass from me.
So let's go to the Browns quick. This is an easy one.
Oh man, literally Barkevius Mingo at number 6 overall.
So
It makes me mad though.
So
Does it?
Yeah, it makes me mad too. And apparently, I think this is funny. I read an article in Grantland. Apparently, Grantland had a correspondent in the Browns war room, and they kicked him out because they were afraid he was going to leak that they wanted Barkevius Mingo at 6, who was the only name on their whiteboard.
No way.
Only name. They apparently had a trade in place with the Rams. If Barkevius went in the top 5, they were going to trade down. They were going to take the Tavon Austin package for the Rams to come up 6.
Oh my god.
But the one thing I will say, it's the only positive I have to say about this draft, is that they made a couple good value trades for next year's picks. Like I if I'm not mistaken, they gave up this year's 5 for next year's 4, and this year's 4 for next year's 3.
That's solid, yeah.
Okay.
So that's it.
Both of those are good moves. They're smart moves. They're far-sighted moves. But I mean, the players they got. I mean, I like Leon McFadden, but he's a slot corner. I'm not getting excited when your best pick was a slot corner. I mean, I would say. I would say because they manipulated the board well into next year, that I'd give them like a D+, maybe a C-, but not on what they got this year, which was absolutely nothing, unless we're including Josh Gordon as part of this draft class. Did I disconnect?
Tyler Eifert, then.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, hold on. I assumed it was me. My internet's been going in and out all day. So the Bengals. The Eifert pick.
I thought they had a great. They had typical Bengals picks, but I mean, they had considering what they had to work with, it was kind of hard not to have a good draft.
Yeah, having the 2 seconds
good.
was huge. I think Gio Bernard's a spellback, which is exactly what he's going to be doing there. I mean, there are people that are making Chris Johnson comparisons. I don't see it.
I don't see that.
Oh, first of all, he's just
not
not
nearly
fast
as fast.
enough. Yeah,
Nearly
he's
as
quick. He's quick. He's very good in small bursts in space, but I see a lot of issues with his running style. They might be able to coach it out of him, but I don't really trust the Bengals to coach anything out of anyone. The Eifert pick, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Jermaine Gresham. I'm not trying to say anything nice about Gresham whatsoever, but
They're going to cut Orson Charles.
with Orson Charles in tow, it's a luxury pick. It's a huge luxury pick, but
I disagree. Orson Charles is. I mean, I've obviously come around to y'all's way of thinking on Gresham after watching him play this year. Oh God! But Orson Charles was not. He wasn't even better. And I was high on him coming out of the draft, so I mean, it pains me to say that, but he wasn't better. He was actually significantly worse than Jermaine Gresham was.
He couldn't have been significantly worse than Jermaine
He might be.
Gresham.
he was a
he might
much
get
better
cut.
blocker. He was a much better blocker.
He might get cut coming into the training camp.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
I'm
might
not-
be,
I'm
and
not-
then the team's going to pick him up. He's going to be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be the fucking Steelers again. They get everybody's fucking stupid training camp cuts. But anyway, I think he's probably a number 2 tight end. Like, I don't see him as a starter unless you're, somebody who's really bad at tight end, like the Raiders. But
Here come the Irish.
oh god, if the Raiders get Orson Charles though.
That's what I
But,
was saying, because they don't have a tight end.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I like Eifert the player. I'm not sure I love the fit. That's one of the ones that I ask me again in a year and I'll have a real answer for you.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm will seeing the Tyler Eifert pick because right now I don't get it.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they want to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, which is it's the new wave in the NFL is the 2 tight end. The Patriots,
that's what I'm hearing
once
is that-
again.
Damn, wish I thought of that.
Yeah, but I mean the issue is they don't really have a move tight end on this team. I mean Eifert's an inline tight end, like tried and true. That's what he's good at. He's a strong blocker. He's strong off the line. So if you're gonna try and be the Patriots and run somebody around like an H-back, it's not gonna be Tyler Eifert. It's not gonna be any of the guys they have right now.
I think they want to use Eifert that way. That's one of the ideas I was reading
He's
on a
way
blog,
too
but
tall.
That's just it's
way
just
too
a rumor.
And if they do that, then they're using possibly their best blocking tight end as a move guy, as a joker tight end. And that's stupid. So like I said,
I think they're going to use Gresham as they're going to do more of a 49ers 2 tight end set where they don't have the move. They got 2 more inline tight ends and then or use Eifert as a Vernon Davis where he might play in the slot, but he's not necessarily going to be an H back.
I mean, I guess, like I said, these are all the reasons that I'm sort of giving the incomplete grade on that pick, because scheme is going to have a lot to do with it. I mean, if they're playing him as like a dedicated slot receiver, if they're using him like the Titans use Jared Cook, then it's a complete waste pick. It's awful. But if they play to his strengths, it might be good. Can we talk about the Margus Hunt pick too? Because this is a really, really interesting fit.
I beat off to that for like
decades.
decades.
I don't know how he's going to fit in there with Michael Johnson, who they really like, and Carlos Dunlap, which is, everyone's questioning whether they use him.
And Michael Johnson, and I mean, they got Dunlap. They re-signed
Gathers,
and they re-signed Gilberry.
Yeah,
Gilberry's one who can switch between defensive tackle and defensive end.
I thought they should have played. I thought they should play Margus Hunt at under tackle. Quite frankly, a fourth-round under tackle. I think it'd be a great fit there, especially on pass rushing down.
So that's what I was sort of thinking too, that they should play him inside. And the idea on paper of him and Geno Atkins in the interior of that line rushing together with Dunlap and Johnson outside is
scary.
Yeah,
horrifying.
that's the exact thing. It's fearsome. It's actually going to intimidate offensive linemen.
But I almost worry that Hunt's too small and doesn't get low enough to the ground to play a pass rush defensive tackle. Like, I think he might have to stay at end. But
this reeks of Justin Smith, though, because they refused to play him at tackle the entire time he was in Cincinnati.
Well, the thing is, it's one of those
This
things I
could
think
be-
he's going to have to grow into. I don't think he's going to make any significant contribution his rookie year.
yeah, I agree. That's
Yeah.
I was trying to think of some way that he'd see the field year one, and barring
Pass
like
rushing specialist third
catastrophic
down?
injuries.
Yeah, it'd have to be injuries, I think.
But I mean, even if you're bringing him in as a pass rusher, are you pulling both your starting DNs for him and Dunlap?
No, I mean like on if you're on like a nickel formation, I'd say on second and long, and you got him inside instead of Pecco, and that's
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't think he's going to see a lot of snaps, which is a shame.
nah. It would.
But-
I mean, he's raw. He probably shouldn't see a lot of snaps anyway.
As far as the rest of this draft goes, wasn't a fan of the Sean Williams pick. Liked the Porter pick a lot.
They got Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, they got Fraggle Rock,
So
but it
late,
was
too.
in the 7th round, so it's not offensive. Him and his fucking, doesn't he have like 21-inch arms or something? Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but
Oh, he's
the
total
man
T-Rex.
has he's 6'9" and has T-Rex arms. He's somehow gonna be King Dunlap with less leverage.
I mean, and Kobe Hamilton, I think, is going to be a solid pick too.
I wasn't crazy. Like they drafted a bunch of guys late that I didn't like, but they drafted him later than everyone expected him to go. Like I'm not a fan of Burkhead. I'm not a fan of Hawkinson. I'm not a fan of Fraggle or Hamilton. So but they're 6th and 7th round picks. So YOLO. Like who cares?
Not Piolo, just YOLO.
I mean, I would say I'd give this draft a B right now. I mean, they got it looks like they got a bunch of role players and bit players. I think Porter's probably going to see the field a bit as third down linebacker across from
Emmanuel
James
Lemur.
Harrison.
Emmanuel Lemur.
No. Sorry, Emmanuel Lemur. You're down to like the 5th best linebacker on the Cincinnati Bengals again.
Oh, shuck.
Poor Emmanuel Lemur.
I thought they were going to play. James Harrison at end on third downs.
With all the defensive ends on this team,
Yep.
like
I'm pretty sure they're going to replace Dunlap with Harrison on third down.
Look, your NASCAR set has a limit of 4.
I just, I think this team's gonna be really interesting to watch, just solely because they could do fucking anything, and I wouldn't be surprised. Because it's the Bengals, like they're both extremely talented and fucking insane at the same time. So
they've got as many pass rushers as the Eagles do without converting all their tight ends to outside linebacker. Clay Harbor.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the. I guess we'll go to the AFC East. We'll start with the Patriots. It's such a fun one.
Okay, hold on. I've assembled my notes here as to my detailed damage control. And,
Duron.
hold on, Your Honor. I'd like to start off with I'm scrolling. Hang on, I dropped my notes everywhere. This Jamie Collins pick. Actually, Jamie Collins, I really didn't like this pick. I think that for all the bantering about the the versatility that he brings. I kind of wish they would just use him in one particular role, and that's mainly as a pass rusher. I'd kind of like to see him move to right end, and I want to see Chandler Jones at left end. I think he'd be more comfortable there. I don't really want to mix him around too much. Just play the guy as a pass rusher. People were saying, "Oh, he can cover. He used to be a safety," and I'm like, that, yeah, but that was a while ago. Don't do that anymore.
I just don't see where he fits in the lineman core.
I mean, to me, he was a 3-4 pass rusher and nothing else. Like, I don't see him as a viable defensive end in a 4-3 set.
I agree.
And I had him as like a 5th round 3-4 pass rusher. Like, I mean, so many reaches in this draft class.
That's one of the ones. This was actually one of the ones that Belichick pulled the trigger on, and there was a report of that. That's worked sometimes, and other times it's failed. But it's one of the ones.
Brace.
Yeah. Speaking of the other guy that Belichick was pounding the table for in this draft, Duron Harmon, pick 91.
I'm actually not offended by Duron Harmon. I'm actually not offended by him at all because it's completely different from the Tavon Wilson pick in that when I watched Tavon Wilson, the tape of him, I was just like, oh, well, I guess he plays football technically, and he was kind of versatile, but while watching the Tavon Wilson tape, and this is not misogynist, I heard a woman as an announcer that really speaks to like how many people were watching tape of Tavon Wilson. But with Duron Harmon, I actually started watching tape of Duron Harmon when I started watching tape of Logan Ryan because they're on the same team, Rutgers.
What about Steve Ball?
Whenever I watched Logan Ryan, I was like, well, he did all right here, but he had safety help over the top again and again and again and again. And Duron Harmon always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. So watching Duron Harmon's tape...
So he's Steve Gregory.
No, he was a little bit better than Steve Gregory as far as the deep coverage, everything like that.
A little bit better than Steve Gregory, ladies and gentlemen. Your third round New England Patriots pick.
He also plays better in the box, etc. I mean, the Duron Harmon pick, would I have liked someone else? Absolutely, but I think that was one of the picks that made me think about this draft that Belichick really didn't like this draft. I don't think he liked a lot of the people in here. I don't think he liked this class at all.
Yet he acquired an extra second, third, and fourth round picks.
Yeah, I know. That's so strange to me. I don't think he valued the people here at all. He just wanted more of these later round guys. And I don't remember if Harmon was the one that he was like pull the trigger on because
that was the one where the scouts were begging him not to make the pick. And then Belichick overruled the entire scouting department. But
I'm just not as offended by the Duron Harmon pick as I am by the. I don't like the Logan Ryan pick, although I understand what it is. What it is it's a perimeter corner, because as soon as what's his face Talib went down, we had to plug in Arrington, who can't play on the outside because what's his face Razai Dowling was injured, and Marquise Cole can't play on the outside either. So at least Logan Ryan can technically play on the outside. As soon as the receiver goes across the middle, we're done. But as long as he can play on the outside, at least I understand where that pick came from. Final other one was the Dobson pick, which that's the only one that I actually really, really like. And I know that there were other receivers on the board who were rated somewhat as high as he was, but I do like Dobson for a whole lot of reasons.
Somewhat as high? Man, you guys still had
Wheaton was on the board.
Keenan Allen
was on the board, but I mean, I understand why people like them as much, but I'm not saying that I prefer Dobson to them, but I'm not even going to use the Will C on here. I like Aaron Dobson where he was picked.
I look at Dobson as a guy that the guy playing across from him in college got almost double his production. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I mean, he was the second fiddle option at Marshall and didn't really look particularly dominant doing it. He's a guy that you look at and you like the measurables and you like his ability to catch the football, but it's not there on tape.
It's Chad Jackson. I mean, it's Chad Jackson.
Yeah,
that's a fair comparison.
Chad Jackson was.
And that's the thing too. I like the player. I like if you told me the Ravens got Aaron Dobson in the 4th round right now, I'd be shit happy. I think he's a guy that could develop into an outside starter in the NFL. But where they took him with who was on the board, I hate the pick. The first pick I see in this draft that I don't absolutely despise is Boyce, and even that was a reach. I mean, just because they needed some semblance of a vertical field stretcher, and that's all Josh Boyce can do is run down the field.
That's true.
But I mean, as far as the last two picks in the draft, I like Buchanan. I don't know if he makes the team, but
I think Buchanan. That's actually a really good question as to whether he makes the team because I don't know if this current defense is really apt for him.
uh, and that's I mean there were weird ethics or not ethics work ethic questions in college, so I don't know. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. As far as the Boharnis pick, oh my God, he's like prototype Belichick special teamer.
Yeah.
Like he's literally Larry Izzo to a T. They're the same
I'd
fucking
love
player.
another Larry Izzo, but it makes me think with the Deron Harmon pick whether Nate Ebner is going to make the team. And I know this really speaks to what I said earlier, but if Deron Harmon gets cut for Nate Ebner, I'm still going to be happy because I love Nate Ebner. He's my Jeff Demps now that Jeff Demps is gone.
Where's Harmon? I don't see where, like right now, except for Dobson's going to start him almost immediately as an X receiver unless Boyce overtakes him in camp. I mean, where do any of these guys factor in immediately? Harmon's not going to start over Cordy or Chung, and Logan Ryan's
Chung,
not going to
who's
start
not on
over.
the team anymore?
Did Chung get cut already? I
Yeah,
forgot
no,
about that.
Yeah,
no,
he
they've
played
got
for the
Adrian
Eagles.
Wilson now.
That's right.
Harmon's
Adrian
not
Wilson.
going to start if he. I
That's
think he's
right.
going to make the team. He's a third-round pick, but he's going to be in the strong safety role. He might be in the money role in the Belichick-Saban defense sort of thing, but the strong safety role is going to be, kind of an interesting one with Wilson, Gregory, and Harmon.
Yeah,
I don't
Chung's
think
an
Harmon
Eagle
ends
now,
up
isn't he?
starting. I think that'd be kind of crazy, but I think he's going to see. I wouldn't say significant contributions, not quite as significant as Tavon Wilson made last year, but
The problem is that when Tavon Wilson was on the field, shit like that Russell Wilson to Sidney Rice touchdown pass happened, and that's
Yeah, but other good stuff happened too. For all the bad moves they made, he also made some good plays as well.
He made great
wasn't- he
moves,
wasn't
like
terrible.
not being Sergio Brown.
moves like Yager.
Sergio Brown. That still makes me mad.
I mean, I went for Sergio Brown and not Ihedgbo because I didn't want to be cool to myself. But so
Well, at least you guys know not to use James Ihedgbo.
false.
What,
He
you're
played
using him now?
well, he was our starter before we took Elam, and he was our starter in the two games where Pollard was fucked up last year.
Yep.
And he actually got a sack and celebrated in the most ridiculous goon way possible. It was
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
But
Yeah,
I want to
So-
start with the
for
New
2
York
games.
Football Jets.
Well,
For you.
first of all, I gotta slap my D- on the Patriots for this joke of
Yeah.
a fucking draft. But
Fine.
Well, no, you got to give him at least a C for getting a ton of future picks.
Did we get a ton?
I don't think he got
Got
a ton.
several.
I'm
Got
gonna
several.
I'm gonna pull this up
Hold
while we talk about the New York
York
Football Jets.
Football Jets. Oh, daddy. They got.
So-
I mean,
It's a shame. It's a real shame they took Milner because I liked the rest of their draft a lot.
I figure if I was gonna be, it would be okay with anyone taking a cornerback that can't backpedal. It'd be Rex Ryan, I guess, because I figure surely he's not stupid enough to make that pick if he can't do something with him. Being that the dude's over 500 as a head coach with nothing but Mark Sanchez and Greg McElroy quarterback. You gotta give him some credit for that. I mean, that means he's got to be one of the most phenomenal defensive coordinators of our time. I mean, that can't be questioned at this point, considering that he's literally 33-30 with Mark Sanchez and Greg McElroy. That's not even an argument to me at this point. I would hate the D. Milliner pick for almost any other team in the top 10, but if it's Rex, I'm going to trust him a little more on this one. Unless it was, Idzik was making the pick because because Rex has lost, the faith of the president or whatever. I don't know.
The Sheldon
Yeah.
Richardson pick was one that we kind of laughed at first because it wasn't
False.
Star.
No, I loved it.
I loved it a lot.
Yeah, no, I actually listened to the podcast and we literally laughed at it, so you can go check that one.
It wasn't us, or it wasn't me at least. I can't speak for you guys, but
Okay, so when I say we, I mean everyone
they're
who's in the group.
they're gay and retarded, so and not the good gay. So anyway, I actually thought that Richardson was the best defensive tackle in this draft, solely because, well, it's a role thing. For as much as I love Star too, because I think that I had them both graded really, really high. I think Richardson definitely pushed the pocket better than anyone. His short area quickness was definitely the best, and I thought his first step was far and away the best. I think as a pass rusher, he was going to bring a lot to the table. He reminds me a lot of Gerald McCoy, which I think is going to be an interesting fit in the 3-4 defense.
Right, that's the problem I had. It wasn't that they necessarily took Sheldon over Starr because, like you said, I've had them both graded pretty highly. It's that they took Sheldon over Starr when they've got Copels and they've got Mo Wilkerson and they needed a nose and they didn't take the natural nose tackle on the board, and that confused. I guess it confused me more than anything because Sheldon's a good pick. I just thought, I mean, they've already got 2 good 3-4 ends. Why do you need another one?
Well, the thing is, apparently they're going to be moving Cobles to outside linebacker.
Don't say outside
on some
linebacker. God
downs.
damn it.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Only on
Why
some downs.
though?
We don't know the full extent of it yet. I don't think that they would be dumb enough to make it full time, but
Well, I mean, it's
He's
it's
huge.
it's a Rex Ryan defense. They're going to run multiple front. If he's playing, and God forgive me for this comparison, but if he's playing the Terrell Suggs role in that offense, where they're using him, or on that defense rather, where they're using him as a down lineman half the time and a stand-up 3-4 outside backer the rest of the time, then I think it's fine. But if you're trying to use him as, like Jarvis Jones, it's not going to work, obviously. I mean, the man's like 6'6", 285. He's
Yep.
huge.
He's a prototype. I mean, to play he's a prototype defensive end to play opposite of a guy like Mo Wilkerson. It's a perfect fit. It was a great fit at the time. It's still a great fit, and that's why I don't get why they took Sheldon Richardson, because they still don't have a nose tackle. I mean, they didn't. Did they keep Pua? He's
no,
like
they cut-
36.
they had to
he's
get
still
rid
on
of
the
him.
market.
Yeah, they cut him. He's like 36 anyway. They don't have anyone at nose.
Oh, they got
Yeah,
Kenrick
what was it?
Ellis.
It's-
Yeah, but
no,
he's not
besides
good.
Kenrick Ellis, the old guy they picked up.
Did they get another guy?
Was it
Fuck, who
Antonio
did they get?
Garay or the other one?
Did they get Garay?
They didn't. Point is, they don't have him good at nose tackle.
Yeah, they got Garay.
And they have 2 good 3-4 defensive ends. I didn't see. I know they run multiple front, but I still think Star would have been a perfect fit. But I'm not mad about Sheldon Richardson like I would have been about, if they would have taken Sharif Floyd.
Yeah, Sharif would have been a terrible pick for them. There's no way he can play in a 3-4 defense whatsoever. I completely
Yeah.
agree. The Geno pick, I want to know how you guys feel about it before I get into
I
it.
mean, I like it because I was telling my friend earlier about the Jets taking a quarterback, is that as much as they do need a quarterback, I didn't think any of the quarterbacks in here merited a first-round grade when you could get someone else. At the time, I was suggesting Jarvis Jones, but, whatever. But picking him in the second, that's totally fine by me. I think that whether he starts is totally up to the president of the Jets or whoever's running that shit show up there. But I think in the second round, that's value. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it's a value pick. I mean, Geno realistically should have gone off the board by the top 25. I think he would have been a good fit with the Vikings having 3 first rounders. I think he would have been a good fit there. But they did something that was the fact that all the 3 of those guys, Cordarrelle and Xavier Rhodes and Sharif Floyd, all fell to the Vikings meant that you can't take Geno Smith. There were all 3 of those guys available. But I mean, for the Jets. The only real problem I have with this is that the Jets are a media magnet, and the Giants really aren't for some reason, but the Jets are, and you drafted a guy who literally the day before just had serious concerns about his ability to stand tough in front of adversity to replace Mark Sanchez. That's questionable.
So I was really hoping you were going to say that solely so I could disagree. But
I mean, not even if it's necessarily true, but just the fact that just the timing there was.
I mean, we just watched the man essentially lose $14 million in front of a massive live crowd.
And I'm sure his agents told him that he'd be a top 10 pick.
Right,
Sure.
and he immediately shit-canned those agents, and that was the right thing to do. And there are people that are trying to make him into a prima donna for canning his agents, and it's just completely wrong. I mean, there's no reason when you're being hyped as the potential number 1 overall pick, far and away the best quarterback in the class, like almost undisputedly, especially after Barkley fell, like that. There's no reason you should be going off the board at 39 unless someone in your camp is not doing their job.
After EJ Manuel.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that I don't think he's a guy that's going to have issues with the New York media like Sanchez did, because I don't think there was a point at this where he was more rattled than pissed off. I mean, this wasn't, we weren't looking at, Brady Quinn on the verge of tears in the green room. It was,
Great.
Like the dude held it together. He was just mad. Like, I'd be mad too. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to stay
when you
there.
get to that point, you're going to be mad. It's just that you're competitive.
That's why I tried to put emphasis on. That's the perception of it from the media's point of view. It's just going to create a shit show.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
I didn't ever see. The only time I ever saw Geno Smith really display
display that on the field was when they were like number 5, and then Texas Tech just blew them out, and his body language was awful. But even when they got blown out after that, he looked fine. It was just, I think he was just more shocked that, and they're the number 5 team. Their defense just completely shit the bed, and then he wasn't playing that well either. But it wasn't like this horrible, crippling, like, you know, LeBron James in 2010 body language disaster.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach through my computer and do physical harm to you right now.
But he was clearly, you know, rattled by that. But I mean, shit, they were down like 44-10 to unranked, like 2-2
I'd be
Texas
pissed
Tech.
off too. Like
He was like, very upset. But I mean, other than that, he's never shown that on the field, and that's fine.
And it's essentially the same shit that people talk about Cam Newton, where they go, oh, you know, he's pouty, he doesn't lose well. It's like, well, first of all, I don't want my team to lose well ever. Like, why would I care if my team is a gracious loser? That's fucking stupid.
Exactly.
But beyond that, I feel like in a lot of ways, especially in a lot of, you know, veteran NFL locker rooms, there are very, very rare players, no matter what their position is, whether they're the quarterback or not, they're going to step into a locker room, be a locker room leader within the first couple years of their career. I mean, obviously you've got exceptions like Russell Wilson, where he just comes in and is, you know, just total force of personality takes over the locker room. But so many people are just completely overstating, you know, how much a quarterback needs to be, you know, like the team leader and this and that. I mean, look at Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, there is no one on this planet that thinks Joe Flacco was, you know, the rah-rah leader of the Ravens. But he didn't need to be. And even now that you lose, you know, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, he still doesn't need to be, because it's still a quality veteran locker room with a strong coaching presence. And if your quarterback's going to show up and do his job, I don't think the players are going to be upset that you have a guy that's getting mad when the team is losing.
Right.
Unfortunately, the media frenzy over in New York, maybe that would contribute to a problem if such a thing arises. I don't want to throw out the We'll See card. I've been saving this We'll See card for a very special day. But really, I feel like Gino, I think he's going to be a decent fit in New York. By the way, the next pick, Brian Winters, I think he's got a good chance to start at either right guard or left guard. I think Willie Colon is the other starter, but they also picked up Steven Peterman in free agency.
Is Brandon Moore literally
anything
a free
about
agent
Mike
still,
Devlin?
though?
Still a free agent. He apparently is chasing a multi-year deal. That's the rumor on him.
At his age,
that's exactly why he's got to.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, if you can get 2 years, $8 million, and you're Brandon Moore, you take it in a heartbeat. But
yeah, if
he
you're
wants
Brandon Moore, but if you're the team, I don't know if you offer that.
Exactly. I mean, if I'm the Bills, I offer it. But we'll get to the Bills in a second.
If I'm the Patriots, I offer it.
The underrated and undermentioned, their 4th-round pick they used to acquire Chris Ivory. I thought that was a fantastic, even as a homer.
I do too.
That was a great move. He's a 5-yard per carry back. I mean, he ran behind a really good run blocking line. I'll grant that, but I mean,
now you don't have to start Goodson.
He's a 5-yard per carry back
too.
in the NFL. I mean, there's not a lot of 5-yard per carry backs in the NFL. Even if he got mostly spot duty, when he was a full-time starter in 2011, when the entire running back core went down, he was still putting up 5 yards a carry. I mean, he's a solid running back. He can block, he can pass catch. I mean, he's a 3-down back, and it was better than anyone they could have acquired with that pick at that point, especially running back, with the possible exception of Jonathan Franklin.
And then what? That contract was what, like $6 million with incentives? Like, it's fantastic.
6 over 3 years. Yeah.
It's a fantastic deal. I think they got a couple bit players at the end of the draft. I think Ibushi's a guy, if they somehow lose Autism Howard after this year, I think he could potentially step in at right tackle, although I'm not a huge fan of his. And then, as far as the other guys...
I know nothing about Bohannon. He's a fullback.
Bohannon's the... I mean, was Bohannon the non-Juszczyk fullback at the Senior Bowl?
I think so.
Because I remember watching whoever that was and thinking, he looks like a pretty good blocker. But I mean, it's...
I mean, you don't want
miss
a
the
whole lot
Terminator,
of
man.
fullbacks.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a 7th-round pick for a fullback that could be decent. I mean, Bohannon was one of the better graded fullbacks. Whatever, who cares?
Can we talk about the Bills now? Come on.
All right, let's go.
Time.
Yes,
There's actually a lot to talk about there, and both good and bad.
EJ Daddy Manuel.
That's the bad.
Oh yeah, as far as Jets grade,
bad.
Jets grade, I'm giving him a B-. I think that's
giving him at best a D+. They took
D+.
Kiko Alonso.
No, not the Bills.
Or no,
the Jets.
the Jets. Yeah. Jets, yeah, they get I give them an A. Absolutely, I thought they had a great draft. Even though I disagree with like a lot of their picks in principle, they got a ton of talent.
Yeah, they got talent, and talent plays in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even I disagree with D. Milliner because he can't backpedal. So I thought they should take a star over
Actually,
Sheldon.
if I can use a wheel C, I would use a wheel C on Milliner.
But they got so much talent, I can't help but give them an A, especially considering most of it was on defense, and I trust Rex Ryan to veto anyone who wouldn't fit the system. But
I would hope so.
Bills,
The
D
Bills.
plus at best, because oh my God, E.J. Manuel, how about that?
That pick was bad. That pick was really, really bad. I can't even will see this. It was just a bad pick. Like, I really hope someone somewhere in the organization saw something and that pick was like actually made with some sort of educated opinion. But
this is
I don't
Doug
know
Whaley's
how.
baby.
That's the report that Whaley was behind this.
I have to actually actively question the intelligence and the scouting abilities of a professional NFL team.
Well, you're just some nerd talking on Mumble. It is a professional NFL GM.
Yeah, I'd say this to Buddy Nix's face. I don't know what you were thinking.
Well, this is apparently Doug Whaley's pick and not Nix's, but
say
he had to sign off on it. Yeah. But
I liked. They needed a wide receiver.
Other than that, and the Kiko Alonso pick, which was atrocious when Arthur Brown's on the board. I mean, they got Robert Woods. That was in the early second. I think it's a steal. I mean, I love
That's a
Robert
good
Woods.
pick.
Marquise Goodwin. They needed a wide receiver again.
Yeah,
and then
I mean,
at the very end, fucking Derrick Rogers.
That was a steal of the free agency class.
Yeah, it was, and I think he might start. He might start over both of those guys.
Except for Chase Thomas, because Chase Thomas was the steal of the UDFA draft.
I completely disagree when compared to Derek Rogers, just because Rogers is so unbelievably like on pure talent. Rogers was a top 3 receiver in this class. Like you're not going to convince me otherwise. He's that good, and I mean I think Goodwin's a bit of a project, and I think this team looks a lot worse if you don't get Rogers, because then you're counting on Goodwin to play major minutes year one, and he can't. It's like, I mean, it's like, you know how last year TJ Graham was so raw that he didn't belong on the field at all, but they were so bad that he was on the field anyway? Because that's Marquise Goodwin this year. I mean, they reached for him. I understand there's a lot of tools that are there to like, but he shouldn't be playing year one.
Duke Williams will probably play year one.
He might play over Searcy. I don't know. I love the player. The fit is weird just because why? But, I mean, Chris Gregg, who they got in the 7th, is going to start at tight end for this team.
Well, I mean, Scott Chandler did he game?
He's hurt. He's not going to be healthy. He's still coming back from the ACL, yeah.
Oh, he is? Oh,
yeah.
Good. The Patriots linebackers are safe for a week.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose.
We'll see.
Bills, D plus at best, because I love Robert Woods, pretty much is the only...
Yeah, I like their wide receivers, considering what they went from their wide receivers last year to this year. And no, Naaman Roosevelt hasn't played for them since, 2010?
2011, but
it still does characterize their wide receiver situation.
Yeah, the fact that I can't remember if they still have Donald Jones or Naaman Roosevelt is really all I need to say about it. Or Ruvel Martin. Do they still have Ruvel Martin?
Receiver.
I know Donald Jones is there now. Do they still have Ruvel Martin?
No. What?
Dude, I don't know! That's what I'm saying. I don't know who's on their roster at receiver. It's that bad.
He's a free agent.
You've listened to me rattle off backup linemen for how long now? I can't name 2 receivers on the Bills.
What about J.P. Losman? Is he still on the roster? No! Fuck that. Yeah, D plus because I love Robert Woods, and because Kiko Alonso might start, even though I thought it was a reach.
And because Dustin Hopkins is the best kicker in the class.
Derek
didn't
Rogers
go in the 3rd round.
And, and E.J. Manuel is going to sit behind Tavares Jackson. God bless America.
I mean, if we're counting Derek Rogers, I'm giving this a C. If we're not counting Derek Rogers, I'm giving it a D+.
Okay, it's Derek Rogers might have bumped this up to a C for all 27 or 26 of the teams. It's Buffalo. I mean, he's not gonna stick in Buffalo.
But it's still a draft class, so
all I really need to say about that is I gave the Patriots a D for getting 0 starters. The Bills look like they got 2, so they get a D+ at least, no matter what.
Dotson starter.
All right. But all right, that leads us to
The Miami
first
Dolphins.
Big trade up. No, the first big trade up. Yeah, Miami Dolphins, who got Deion Jordan from Oakland for peanuts relative to the last few drafts. And I'm not sure where he fits in this defense.
He's gonna play the Jason Taylor position. He's gonna be
Yeah.
the big athletic end that you can drop out into the flat in the coverage. And it's if you look at him as that, assuming he adds a bit of muscle to play 4-3 end and stays healthy and his shoulder gets right, it's not the worst pick in the world. Like I thought it was retarded when they made it. But now that it's come out, how they're planning to use him, I get it. I mean,
I was gonna say that too, except Jason Taylor's like 40 pounds bigger than Deion Jordan, and it seems like they were looking for Jason Taylor when they don't need Jason Taylor in their system. And it's not Deion Jordan. Deion Jordan's the kind of guy who, if you used him in some other team system, he could cover tight ends legitimately, like even good ones. And he's never really going to have the chance to do that because he's not playing 4-3 linebacker.
I'm pretty sure Jason Taylor actually played at like 245, 250, so I think that's a bit of an overestimation. Yeah, he was light. He was just super athletic.
I thought he played bigger than that.
I really like Jason Taylor.
I like Jason Taylor too, and I'm not insinuating Deion Jordan can be Jason Taylor, but you see the similarities in their skill sets, I think. But the big thing, I think, is that was the worst pick of their entire draft. I love this draft class. I love Jamar Taylor. I love Dallas Thomas. I love Jelani Jenkins. I love Deion Sims. I love Gillislee. Just top to bottom, this draft class was stacked.
Yeah, they did really well.
I mean, yeah, you didn't address the tackle problem, and then they're the ones that got Clabo, right?
Yeah, they did address it. They got Clabo, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't address it in the draft, and we were all poo-pooing them for not getting a tackle because Dallas Thomas isn't going to be healthy until halfway through training camp.
The thing is, Clabo is all you need because as much as I seriously dislike Jonathan Martin at either left or right tackle, is that I'm not even accounting for growth in his sophomore year, and that could be a very significant factor because there are a lot of tackles that really sucked in their rookie year, and then they went on to be really good.
And even if he does suck this year, you've got 3 Pro Bowl linemen starting day one for that team in Incognito, Pouncey, and Clabo. They're and if you've got 3 linemen like that, I mean, it's good enough. I mean, I'm not going to say that this line's competing to be in the top 5 or anything, but they address...
especially with how mobile Tannehill is.
Yeah, they're going to give Tannehill enough time to complete passes, and that's all that he needs.
And now they've got the people to complete them too. And I feel like we shouldn't undersell Deion Sims as a blocking tight end, who's just an absolute mauler. Like, that pick was wonderful.
Huge upgrade over Fasano.
Yeah, you pair him with Dustin Keller. I mean, the two of them together are going to look good, I think. Just because Keller doesn't really block, but if you use Sims, as your inline blocking tight end and move Keller around a bit, I think you're a lot better off. But
Sims is a total mauler. He's going to beat.
I mean, Gillislee might be the third down back year one for this team. I feel like if Lamar Miller's pass protection doesn't get better with what else is on the roster in front of him, he's got a decent chance to be their passing down guy. Will Davis could be their slot corner. Jamar Taylor is probably starting week 1.
Yeah.
Dallas Thomas, if he gets healthy in time, could play his way into starting at right guard.
It's just not going to be John Jerry, is it? I mean, really?
It's him and Lance Louis, yeah. Yeah.
Pro Bowler Lance Louis?
Hall of Famer Lance Louis.
Hall of Famer Lance Louis.
So I'm giving this draft class an easy A. I think this is one of the best classes out there. I've heard a lot of people down on it solely because they gave up a second rounder to go get Deion Jordan, but
they picked Jamar Taylor in the second round, so who cares?
I mean, it wasn't so much they moved up to get Deion Jordan, which was, some people said some people said great, but everything else, it was just guys just fell to him over again, and as Sturgis is going to save them potentially could save them a roster spot because he can play kicker and punter. I mean, that by itself's worth a 5th round pick. I mean, you always want to have that one extra guy, just in case they pull another CFL and he becomes the next Cameron Wake. I mean, who knows? I know it's a we'll see, but roster spots are always huge.
Rest in peace, Dan Carpenter. You never scored. So I guess we go AFC South now.
Yeah,
and let's start with the Jaguars. For all 3 Jaguars fans out there.
Oh, can we please? Because they took a right tackle at number 2 overall. Has that ever happened before? Because I honestly can't. I got like 20 years of draft history. It pretty firmly rooted in my brain.
Jason Smith.
He was supposed to be a left tackle, though. He was drafted to be a left tackle. He shouldn't have been, but he was.
Well, Luke Jokel could at one point be a left tackle when they don't decide
We'll
to
see.
sign Eugene Monroe.
No, I mean, Jason Smith was drafted specifically to play left tackle. Luke Jokel was drafted specifically to play right now in
At least year
day
one, yeah.
right tackle. I've never seen that before.
I
At number 2 overall.
I haven't either. This draft, when I look at it, they got players I liked other than Ace Sanders, who I don't even think makes their team. But I guess
That
he
was
could be a
way
return
early.
guy. It was a stupid pick, but they got players I like at bad value and bad positional value for this team. I mean, I like Cyprian, but when your first 2 picks are a right tackle and a strong safety,
Yeah.
and then you take Gratz, who I thought looked more like a safety than a corner. Apparently,
He
Gus
has
is
to
going to play him at
start.
corner. Yeah, he's probably going to be starting at corner. Their starters are probably him and Marcus Trufant at corner.
Well, the
And
thing is, I heard
it's a
Trufant is mainly,
disaster.
the coach said that Trufant is mainly going to compete for their nickel, so Alan Ball's going to start on the outside.
I just,
Oh, it's still funny.
Gratz,
Oh,
Ball,
man.
and Trufant. Those
but
are your
I mean,
starters.
I actually like Shoelace as a gadget player. I mean,
Oh, me too.
It was,
Me too, absolutely.
that's. I think there's a lot of plays in the playbook you can use him on. I think as a kick returner, he's going to be really good. I
They say
love
they
the
want to
Josh
get him 10
Evans
to
pick.
15 snaps or carries a game, and maybe not carries, snaps a game, and I love that. I say if you can use him, use him.
So if you're playing 2 deep safeties, Josh Evans is the free safety you want on the field. Period. Just because he was responsible for the entire deep middle the entire time that Matt Elam was on the field at Florida State because he refused to play zone.
Everywhere.
Yeah, he refused to play zone. So Josh Evans just back there, honing his craft, and he looks like he's probably at least within 2 years a starter at free safety somewhere in the NFL. But so good work. You got 2 safeties and a fringe cornerback to fix your completely broken secondary. Like I just
thought the Cyprian pick was weird considering who was available at corner at the time. I mean, you got both Mississippi State corners were still on the board. Jamar Taylor was still on the board. It was just... I thought Cyprian's good. I thought he was a mid-second to late-second pick. I thought 33 was really early.
So I essentially look at this draft really similarly to the way I looked at the Bucks draft last year, where they got horrible position value, but got good players, so it sort of balanced out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way that I can look at this draft is to say that they took the highest guy on their board at every pick until the later round where they started just, taking shots in the dark at secondary players. But that's the way that I see this class, because I mean it's stacked secondary guys, a right tackle, and a receiver and a gadget player. So did this draft fix your team? No, but I think you got probably 5-6 guys in this draft that are gonna contribute significant minutes year one.
I mean, that's more of a statement about the Jaguars than it is about the draft
It's
class.
very true.
Poor Guster. Oh, I thought he was going to be a good coach.
He
But-
might still be. I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's playing Alu at defensive end, so who knows?
But they got the Patriots practice squatters at defensive tackle, so
Yeah, they've got
Taylor.
Derrick and Love.
Rap game Taylor Price.
it's
He's
Patriots
still on
South.
roster.
God, poor Jaguars. I just feel
No.
bad for them.
No. I feel bad for Shaw because he's awesome. His mustache is the shit.
I feel bad for Denard Robinson. I wish he'd be on a real team.
He
Well,
took
he's
snaps at
on
quarterback.
he's on a team where he's gonna get to play Wildcat package plays. Like he's
Look,
on
if
a
I
bad
can see
team.
that Denard Robinson fumble, I take back everything I ever said.
I mean, the report came out of camp that this was the worst year of quarterbacking in Jaguars history.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm starting it right now. Skip Bayless, open letter campaign. Unleash him.
Denard Robinson will start at some point this year, and if you don't
He
believe
might.
me, you're a fool.
I mean,
Because it's going to happen.
with Matt Scott and Babby Rogers banged up in camp, like
Yep.
he could be their third quarterback on the roster week one.
Please.
I want it
I
so
know
badly.
the Lord is based.
God, I
It's
want this
gonna-
more than
It's
anything.
gonna-
I really do.
Such epic lore is going to come out of this shit when Denard Robinson comes
Look,
on
if
the field and
Denard
throws
Robinson
for 5
wins the Super
touchdowns.
Bowl as a rookie,
I'm just saying
I
it's
will post
possible.
pictures of my dick
I'm
on the
buying a
podcast.
jersey. I'm going to switch to a Jaguars fan.
Yep, I'm
I
gone already.
think Jaguars bandwagon will be be allowed if that happens. Like everyone gets a free pass to leave their franchise and,
And
come to the
Lowe
Jags.
gets to be super angry because now everyone's a Jaguars
Look, I
fan,
ain't
and
gonna
he can't
Jaguars
have any
fan
Super
for
Bowl by
longer.
himself.
He can't get into games for $4 anymore. All right, so
He can't bring.
I'm
He
gonna
can't
be
bring. They don't allow him to bring food into the game anymore.
Because you really allow him to do
What
that,
am
right?
I gonna do with all this chum? All right,
God damn.
I'm giving the Jags a C plus just because I think there's a lot of projectability there. I could easily see myself giving them a C minus if some of these guys don't pan out. Right now, I'm willing to bet on guys that I liked and say that these guys are going to be significant NFL players sooner or later. But let's move on to the Tennessee Titans.
I don't hate their draft as much as you seem to hate their draft. I really love it.
I don't hate it at all. I love their draft.
Warmack makes them a good offensive line.
I don't see a single pick of theirs that I don't like. I mean, all
Lamar
of them are
Edwards
great.
is a piece of shit, but
No, I think he's. Well, I mean, for where they got him, it was great value considering he's talented.
so he can be their 7th defensive end on this team.
They don't
How
have
many
that
fucking
many defensive ends.
How many defensive linemen do they have? They've got at least like 7 legitimate, rotational defensive tackles on this team right now. When you look
They
at
don't have
guys
that
like
many
Mark,
ends.
well, okay, there aren't as many at end, but as far as defensive tackles go, look at this fucking defensive tackle depth chart for the Titans. See if you can pull this up quick.
I know they got Klug.
They got Klug, Marks. They got
I thought they let
Samuel
go of
Hill.
Mark.
And Mike Martin.
Mike Martin.
Mike Martin. They've got who else is on this? There's so many.
I thought they let Mark
Hang on, I'm
go.
pulling it up now.
I don't think they did.
Okay,
they
at
let
defensive
somebody
tackle,
go.
they have Jarrell Casey, Stephon Charles,
Casey,
Zach Clinton. This is alphabetical. John Harris, Sammy Hill, Antonio Johnson. Yeah, they got Mookie Johnson, Carl Klug, Mike Martin, and Ropati Patuatua.
And Jarrell Casey made PFF's top 101 too, which I
Yeah,
think
I like
surprised
Jarrell
me.
Casey.
There's apparently a rumor going around they're going to cut Klug because they want more size inside. He weighs
give
like
me that
270.
Klug. Give me
So
that Klug. I like Klug.
Really,
So-
dude, he'd be a great pickup, like a camp pickup.
he'd
Yeah,
be a
for
great
almost
pickup for
anything.
literally anyone. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying about how many goddamn defensive tackles they have. But as far as their draft went, the Warmack pick, there's a lot of people shitting on him for taking a guard in the top 10. There wasn't anywhere else that could go with this pick that wasn't a massive reach. This is
This is
really
the
the
worst
only defensive
draft in
guy for it.
history. Like it's potentially the worst draft, like in terms of top 10 value in history.
Yeah,
You can't not take Warmack there.
and even that when you look at the other players that were like fringe possible to take on the board, are you going to take Sheldon or Starr with the Titans and your goddamn 9 defensive tackles? No, you can't. Like, there's no one else that they can take that makes any sense whatsoever. Are you going to be the team that takes DJ Hayden at 10 to make sure the Raiders don't get him? Like
Geno
there's
Smith.
there's no exactly. Like, are you going to take your new quarterback? You take the guard because there's no one else that is going to not be like a 30 pick reach that you can take here that's going to start for you at any point this year.
That was BPA. That was straight BPA.
It-
Now,
it-
that
he was the best pick
because
available.
their offensive line, like I said, is legit. Their only weak spot, and it's barely a weak spot, is center. It's like saying that Dan Connolly is a weak spot for the Patriots. It's like, yeah, who cares if he's the weak spot?
Well, I mean, Velasco was pretty good last year. I mean, now that
He's
they're
all right.
rated,
And as far
And
as
they drafted
backup, Robert
Schwenk.
Turner.
yeah, I love Schwenky.
Schwenky's probably gonna start
Schwenky's
by
going to start
some
next
point
year
this
at the
year.
latest
Yeah.
because this is a restricted free agent year for Velasco, so he probably walks after this year and Schwenky takes over.
And I absolutely-
Schwenky's a stud.
I adored the Xavier Gooden pick. That was fantastic.
So my only issue with the Xavier Gooden pick, I love the player, I love the system fit, is they've got 2 of Xavier Gooden on their roster
Zach
already.
Brown and-
They've got Zach Brown and is it Akeem Ayers or Akeem Jordan? I get them confused.
Kim Ayers.
Key Ayers.
Akeem Ayers. But
Ayers
they're-
is way slower than Gooden and Brown are.
I mean, they're rangy outside linebackers that don't have great football instincts. They're all the same player, and that's like you could pick 2 out of a hat to start, and I'd be fine with it. They're going to be above average 4-3 outside linebackers who are going to miss way too many tackles.
Gooden's going to be an absolute freak stud on special teams. So I
my
can't
God,
wait
I
to see
know.
him racing down the field and blowing people up. That's going to be fantastic to watch. And I mean, the Justin Hunter trade up was probably I'm not going to say it's the best trade up in the draft,
They
but it was
gave
one
up
of
a
them.
lot. I mean, considering what trade-offs we're going for in this draft, they gave up a lot. But I love the player, so I'm not upset about it. I like the Bleedy pick in round 3. I thought.
I like Bleedy.
I mean, he's probably in the discussion to start year 1, although he probably shouldn't. But they've got a bunch of like fringe number 2 corners on this team. So if you get one corner to develop out of that group of like Tommy Campbell and Mouton and and Bleedy. If you get one competent starter out of that group to start across from McCourty, your secondary's fine.
Speaking of Mouton, did they cut Jonas Mouton yet? Did the Chargers
Why are you
cut?
talking about the San Diego Chargers?
I've got to know if they've cut him yet because I'm anti.
No, they didn't. They didn't cut him yet.
All
He
right.
is still on their roster.
He's never gonna play. He got 4 snaps last year, I think. I'm not even gonna
It's
check
still
that.
funny.
He's
That's
not
why I had to
checking.
bring it up.
Lord of
I
no
forgot.
rings.
I want to talk. The Texans. It's been 10 years. They drafted Andre Johnson in 2003, and they've finally drafted a receiver to put
Oh,
next
wait,
to him.
back to the Titans real quick. They have Kevin Walter. I wonder if he gets more snaps than Justin Hunter.
Probably, yeah. I have a feeling that we're gonna end up seeing one week where they start, notorious hard worker Kendall Wright across from notorious hard worker Kevin Walter, where they put Hunter and Britt both in the doghouse due to character issues and don't let them see the field. But would you be surprised? No, I give the Titans an A easily. I think they had a great draft, but it's another issue where it's going to depend on how they use these guys, because they could use them totally wrong and their draft falls apart. If they're, moving Justin Hunter around the field and not playing him as a pure outside receiver to try and, get him snaps, if they're playing Justin Hunter on special teams ever, then, I mean,
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can,
Jeez.
because the Titans. But,
okay, that makes sense.
But as far as the Texans go,
I
Hopkins
like
was
Newt
great.
Hopkins.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody except for the hotel cleaning staff at the Combine is going to complain about the DeAndre Hopkins pick. As far as the rest,
they didn't think they'd get him. They were going to take Justin Hunter at 27.
Yeah.
And then because they didn't even think that DeAndre Hopkins would be there, and he just fell right in his lap.
So they made some really, really strange picks. The Swearinger pick makes no sense to me. Talent-wise, at 5'7", it was good, but he's not going to play. They've got both their starting safeties are under contract right now through 2016 or 2015.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
So
That does make it really tough for him to get playing
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
barring an injury.
He'll be a pure special
he's-
teamer.
Yeah, but they might move. Do they still have Manning or Quinn? I get them confused too.
Manning.
They still have Manning. So
Yeah, Quinn's a
Daddy
lion.
if Daddy Dog gets hurt, then Manning slides over to free safety, and Swearinger comes in the lineup at strong safety, and you're fine. So I mean, but it's still a second round insurance pick. And Brennan Williams, I like a lot. He's got a lot of injury issues. I hope
Could
he
he
puts
play
it
right
together.
tackle?
Yeah, he's going to be their right tackle.
I want to go back to
start
Swearinger for a second though, because if Swearinger's if you really like him at 50, I mean, if you really like him as your future strong or future free safety at 57, because there's been talk about him being a free safety. I've heard a lot of it, and if you like him as your future replacement for Ed Reed, and you want to give him, a couple years to sit and learn, and then be the reservist, because both, I believe Manning's also had some health issues, but Reed primarily has been injured, on and off for a while. Then I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I think it's a good pick if you want that
I
specific
just
scenario.
feel like injury insurance in the second round is a little questionable decision.
Yeah, although I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed the report coming out that Ed Reed passed his physical with the Texans and then immediately had hip surgery after
There's a
inking his
boy.
deal. Yeah, they apparently didn't discover that he was hurt, and so good work
There's
to the
a
Texans.
boy.
They had no idea. Two other picks I wanted to get to in the Texans class, because it's a lot of guys that I'm not that familiar with. But
Quessenberry was a
Quessenberry
great
pick was in a zone blocking scheme. I think he could start at right guard day one. Honestly, I mean, I don't think they'll let him start, but he's wonderful. And at worst, he's a guy that can play 4 positions on your offensive line.
I didn't know they got Sam Montgomery.
Yeah, that was a terrible pick.
If he gets off his ass for 5 seconds and works, it'll be a great pick, but I don't see it.
If he gets off his ass for 5 seconds and works, he still can't play 3-4 rush linebacker. That's the problem. It's a terrible scheme fit. It doesn't make any sense for them. I loved the Trevardo Williams pick, though. I think he's going to come in as their third pass rusher year one. He's probably going to overtake Brooks Reed, who sucks dick. But
But he looks just like Clay Matthews.
Man, damn it! First we got Lambo, now we have Dong infiltrating it.
What happened to Dong? Where's he been? Like, he just vanished.
He got mad because we yelled at him for being racist or something, so he went over to MLB Link.
So he goes to NHL.
So he goes to the tag admin, but he have one letter. Okay,
no,
that's
he
fine.
went to NHL Links to be racist.
Anyway, so I mean, I would give this draft like a B. They got some good players. They got some players that don't make any goddamn sense.
I hate to be the guy who's all over the wide receivers, but Nuke Hopkins is really the one that's the most important here. Not just because he could be the most contributory, but over Kevin fucking Walter at long last.
I mean, literally, they drafted Walter in 2003 in the 7th round in the same draft as Andre Johnson. He's had to deal with this shit for 10 years.
2003 7th rounder in the year of our Lord and Savior 2012.
Yep. Who did we forget in that division?
Forget? No, we just got to move on to the Colts.
Oh, right, the Colts. Who had
the Colts? Who had a confusing draft?
I hate their draft. I've said how much I hated their draft.
I love the late part of it. I love Hughes. I love Holmes. I think Kerwin Williams is an interesting pick.
I think Kerwin Williams is going to see snaps year 1, which is great for a 7th rounder.
I don't think Werner was a good scheme fit. I thought he was a 4-3 end exclusively, and not a rush linebacker.
Yeah,
at all.
I agree. He's going to be a terrible rush linebacker. Thornton he's got a lot of technique issues they're going to have to iron out. If they can get him straight, he's got absolutely the frame and the strength to be a mauling guard, but there's a lot of work to do there.
He's not Mike McGlynn. That's plus points right there.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But the Montee Hughes pick was great. The Kerwin Williams pick was good. It's a 7th rounder. I give this team a D. I thought it was a shit draft. Like this is Patriots tier to me.
You don't like Collier Holmes, so I think he's going to be starting
I do.
this year.
I don't think he starts over Sattel.
I don't think he does either. Again,
I mean, a guard.
Sattel has to get injured in order for
Holmes is a guard center. He can play both positions.
I actually like Holmes. I think Holmes and Travis Frederick are the same player, but which granted is a 4th round power blocking lineman exclusively who might not be able to stick at center. But no, I don't dislike the Holmes pick at all. It's just I'm sort of indifferent to it. Good for you.
I thought Thornton and Werner were bad, but I mean they lowered up pretty good in the late round.
They apparently are going to want Holmes to play center though, because they dumped A.Q. Shipley for nothing. And I mean, in spot duty, Shipley looked acceptable last year. So
he looked better than acceptable. I thought the A.Q. Shipley looked really good in spot.
Well, I'm trying to temper expectations since the Ravens got him for a literal throwaway pick, but
I think that you're gonna. I wouldn't say you're gonna end up liking him because I don't know if he starts over Geno, but
I hope he doesn't start over Godkowski. Godkowski's my boy, but yeah, there's not a lot to get excited about for the Colts. Let's go to the Chiefs.
Oh man, Alex Smith though.
Oh, see, I'm trying.
Fisher.
I'm trying solely to evaluate these drafts based on who they actually took, because I mean, with the Alex Smith trade factored in, this is like an auto F. But
I mean, you factor in Ivory with the Jets, you got to factor in Smith.
Well, I wasn't gonna, but yeah. But like, I mean, they got Eric Sangreen 420 Kush, but I don't know who this guy is, but we can make a bunch of weed jokes when the Chiefs are on. So
they got Travis literally insane Kelsey.
Oh yeah, then
he's actually crazy.
Yeah, he's a fucking crazy person, and they also signed Fasano and still have Moiaki, so I don't even know if Kelsey sees the field. Niall Davis was a total waste pick. Nico Johnson went way too early. F.
Yep.
F. No matter like Fisher can be a top 5 left tackle. It's still an F. This is just a shit draft all around. Just absolute shit. They would have been better off with Piolo.
Can you imagine Travis Kelsey on Taco Tuesday?
I don't know any of these Travis Kelsey memes.
Well, he's insane. Like he's been like 18 trillion off the field incidents, and all of his personality reviews from the combine were he's crazy. Like he's batshit.
Like take him off your draft board, crazy.
Like he's nuts. Like he just doesn't give a fuck. Like
his Wikipedia article doesn't have any of that.
He's like Gronkowski, but all the time, and doesn't give a shit about football and just wants to party all the time.
And
sounds like fun.
Was he suspended for an entire year for drug violations, or am I getting that wrong?
I'm not sure if that's it.
It might not have been an entire year, but I know it was 2011. He had some sort of drug suspension. I think it was like multiple usage or something. But
sorry for party rocking.
But yeah, F for the Chiefs. You guys fucked up bad.
Yeah, he missed the entire 2010 season.
That was 2010. Yeah. Okay. Raiders. Well, first of all, trading down, no matter who they took, was a good move. I mean, getting anything they could to get out of the third deck when there was nobody there for them was smart. I don't hate the Hayden pick.
I don't get it. I don't get this round one DJ Hayden shit. I still don't get it.
I love him on tape. I mean, the injury shit's concerning. The fact that he didn't play against super great competition's concerning.
But
12,
the tape really
it's
is
too
nice.
It's too high at 12. His tape, I just.
They have absolutely nothing at defensive tackle. Sheldon Richardson went off the board in the next pick.
I know.
And you take DJ.
I know.
When you've got...
It's not smart. I completely agree that there were much bigger fits. I think they were in love with the player and had to have him no matter what at 12. They were
going to take him at 3.
Take him at 3. Yeah, they were considering taking him at 3. I think that like I said, I'm defending the player more than I am the pick because I think DJ Hayden's getting a lot of shit and is a lot better than he's getting credit for. The other pick they got in that deal they used on Menelik Watson, which
Menelik Watson. Here's the thing about Menelik Watson. I thought, oh, he could start left tackle. Then I realized, oh no, they have Jared Veld here. Then I googled Jared Veld here, and that's a whole lot of fun.
Oh, that man is
he's so huge.
He makes The Rock look like a jabroni.
He makes Bruce Campbell, who was drafted because of his body, look like a bitch.
Yeah, I mean he's got a better body than Marcus Hunt, and that's saying something.
Yeah. So arms are like logs, man.
Oh, Jesus dude, Christ. It's ridiculous. So
imagine him in his bed.
Imagine me in his bed with him.
Anime princess, same. So Watson's probably going to start day 1 at right tackle, which I think, as weird as it is, I think it's the best thing for him because I think he's one of those guys that just needs to be on the field in order to improve.
Yeah,
and since the Raiders have garbage, I think he's going to be like absolutely abominable year 1 and keep his job year 2 and then possibly be decent because all the tools are there, although I don't particularly expect him to pan out. Like, I wasn't high on him at all. I thought he was like a round 4 guy, but when you look at the physical talent, it at least kind of makes sense.
Oh man, I just realized that Tyler Wilson's going to start week 1 and go from the Arkansas offensive line to the Raiders. God, he's going to
Damn it,
die.
no, you're telling me Peasy's not going to start?
No, it's going to be...
There is no way that Uncle Tom asked Reggie McKenzie's going to start Peasy. There's no way he'll be unleashed.
It's the rookie mini
right?
camp. Apparently, Tyler Wilson looked really, really good, and he's probably going to start.
Imagine signing
quick
Chris
reminder.
Kluwe when
He was my
Marquette
number 1
King.
quarterback on the board.
Quick reminder to everybody out there that ever wanted to cheer for the Raiders. Peasy's not going to start. Leckler's gone. Seabass is going to retire within the next 2 years. So we can burn Oakland to the ground as soon as Seabass leaves.
No, we
just
can't
move
because they
Oakland
drafted
over to LA.
Ricasa's brother.
They did draft Ricasa. I forgot about that.
Drafted Ricasa's brother, Nick Casa, who's actually a pretty good tight end. He'll probably start week 1.
He can block. I mean, he's going to be the blocking tight end. Rivera's going to be the receiving tight end. And they're both 6th-round picks, and they're both going to start. But it just... I did really like the C.O. Moore pick.
As far as it was early, though.
I don't
Look
think
at their
so.
other linebackers, though. So
I mean, I think he's going to play defensive end.
Yeah, he's an end man.
oh well,
He's a pass rusher exclusively.
And I think he's a pretty good power rusher. I think across from Houston they'll be solid. But as far as the whole
They're
class
going to move
goes,
Houston inside.
What?
are you sure about that?
Wait,
No,
defensive
I'm
tackle?
not. But I heard they're. I remember somebody mentioning somewhere, and I could be completely wrong, that they're going to move Houston inside, which makes he could be a good under tackle. It makes sense.
So you mean Vance McDonald won't start?
Coach Dennis Allen says moving left end Lamar Houston to the 3 technique is certainly a possibility.
Yep.
Well,
So-
possibility.
Well, let's
But that
hope
means it's
Dennis
gonna
Allen
happen. That
comes to
means
his
it's gonna
senses.
I
hope
I'm not going to judge it until it actually is confirmed.
We'll see.
So,
I mean, I've been following Belichick for too long that the possibility,
I know.
like we've heard possibilities that Brady could play wide receiver. I want to see it on the field before it actually happens.
so
Not like Messi.
I'm giving the Raiders a C+. And I have to cringe as I give them a C+, because I don't think the talent they got deserves it. But I think getting out of pick 3 is almost enough in and of itself to guarantee you at least a C.
I like Latavius Murray. I thought he was a good pick.
That was a good pick, actually. I totally forgot they took him. But I mean, he's probably going to end up starting when McFadden goes down for the year in Week 7 again. So
But guys,
Dynasty
guess
League
what?
Sleeper.
Guess what? Here come the Irish.
Yes,
San
thank you. I
Diego
want to talk
Chargers.
about the Chargers. First pick is DJ Fluker.
If he can be the guy that I think he is, and I know y'all both disagree, I think it was a good pick. But if he's, I mean, I think he's right now. He is week 1 of Andre Smith's year 3, and that's way better than that's a huge
Week
huge
one of Andre
upgrade.
Smith's year 3?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
because Andre
doesn't
Smith was
believe he doesn't believe in the Fluker heavy feet. So
I think that they were overstated. But I've looked at a lot of tape, and he shows them sometimes, and then every once in a while he'll flash out of it. I think he can develop to a guy, and I think he's a lot better than if you look at Andre Smith. You want to talk about heavy feet? I mean, dude looked like, obviously he was fat, but he had fucking stone legs, and he had them for his first 2 years in Cincinnati, and then in year 3 finally developed, and he started to get, he was fluky with it, but his stone leg slowly started to loosen up a little bit. That's where Fluker is right now.
So essentially, I see what you're saying, although I completely disagree. And you have to realize that Fluker is now going to a worse offensive line on the one he played on last year. I mean, he's going to be starting next to Jeremy Clary. Jeremy Clary
Wait, Clary's going to play right guard?
Clary's playing right guard.
Oh man.
What?
Clary's playing right guard. Yep.
Well, in fairness, Clary's by far his biggest weakness was edge rusher. So he could be passable at right guard.
Yeah, it's still Jeremy Clary.
Yeah, it is.
I mean that line is who the fuck knows at left tackle because they're apparently trying to
Mike
sign
Harris.
They're trying to sign Max Starks. So
Is he not retired?
no,
No,
he's
no,
still just
he's
hanging
not
around in
retired
free
yet.
agency. But that Reinhardt at left guard, and then Hardwick, Clary, and Fluker. So just
It's reminder. Eric Winston is literally a free agent.
yep, it's just
Yep.
Isn't there another right tackle on the market who's a free agent?
Yeah, there's at least one more. I can't remember who it is.
It's not
I'm drawing a
Clabo.
blank.
It's
Because there was Clabo who went off, and then there was Winston. There's one other guy who should be starting right now, but I don't know. Anyway, I thought the Manti Te'o was good where they got him. I love the Keenan Allen pick, and don't really know anything else about any of the other picks.
So Steve Williams is a guy that a bunch of people really, really liked and had moving up, but he's small. He's probably not going to be much of a factor outside of the nickel.
Oh, no, I do know Steve Williams because I watched it, and he's a dead ringer for Saquon Thompson.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and it's the exact same system, and that's what they love at California. They love these squat, short cornerbacks, and Thompson was graded out as a third-round pick, and he filled the 7th, and now he doesn't have a team anymore. That's who Steve Williams is. He's Saquon Thompson.
Steve Williams tore up the combine, though. I think that's sort of what propelled him up into the 5th round. But he's not a guy that I would have looked at before like the 6th. But Keenan Allen pick was great. They got lucky trading up for. So I like Te'o for their team. I hate that they traded up for him. Just because when you look at all the middle linebackers that were on the board, if you lose Te'o and get stuck with Arthur Brown, oh no! I mean, trading up, what they gave up was stupid.
They give way too much considering this draft.
I think this is a D+ class, and it's only getting the plus sign because of Keenan Allen. Honestly,
Yeah, I agree.
I'd give them a B+ because they got three instant starters, and I like all of them. I don't even dislike Te'o. Butler and Te'o in the middle is going to be a great combo.
Well, Butler and anyone is probably going to look pretty good because Butler's been very good. A lot of people don't notice.
Butler's pretty underrated. I actually don't like Te'o that much, or at least as you guys do, and I'm obviously lower on Fluker than
I don't
Cam
love
is.
him. Yeah, I don't love him, but Te'o's most of his weaknesses are gonna be masked in a 3-4, especially next to a guy like Donald Butler.
Butler's gonna help out.
All right, guys. For this next team, let's play a game. I'm gonna read off a list of names, and when you tap out, when you want to start laughing, you tell me, and we'll see how far we can get into this. Sylvester Williams, okay, that's fine. Montee Ball.
Done.
I can't do Kayvon Webster. I really can't.
Webster.
I really can't do Kayvon Webster.
And this is
draft BJ Daniels to play cornerback at this point.
It's this draft. So I think Sylvester was a good pick for this team, and I love the Quantera Smith pick. This is my boy.
Quanteras is good.
I talked for a good 10 minutes about Quanteras in our pre-draft podcast. I think if he's healthy, he's going to start year 1. But
I love Tavares King. I mean, I hate
Tavares King. I don't think
he's got high weight speed, and I think that
I don't think Tavares King gets out of camp on the roster. He might be a practice squad guy, but I actually don't dislike Dysert. I think Dysert's better than Osweiler, but That's
wouldn't
not
go that
saying a
far,
lot.
son.
That's not saying a lot. Well, if you look at Dysert's junior year tape, it's really good. And then they changed the system, and he lost all his decent offensive linemen, and he looked a lot worse. And then the Senior Bowl, I just don't want to talk about it. But I mean, there's things to like about Dysert as a 7th-round developmental quarterback, which is more than I can say about Brock Osweiler, who's a piece of shit and awful. Montee Ball, though.
58 is one of the worst picks of this draft. Unironically, considering how much mileage he has on him coming out of Wisconsin and how bad he looked when the mileage was piled up on him. I mean, the first 6 games of the year, he had like a 2.2 yards per carry average. He had to put James White in. I mean, he came on at the end of the year. I'll give him that. He had that bowl game was just ridiculous. But when you look at when he was good, everyone on the team was good. I mean, the bowl game they had 3 runners over 100 yards. His numbers weren't that exceptional. I think he had the worst yards per carry of the 3 too. James White had like 8 yards of run.
Well, the funniest thing to me is in the draft topic that one guy who kept defending him.
Was it
Joelmer?
Joelmer?
He's an NFL player. What are you? Well,
no, it wasn't
I'm
Joelmer.
not comparing myself to him.
No, Joelmer's not that dumb. Let's give Joelmer some
It wasn't
credit.
Joelmer, it was someone else.
Joelmer listened when we talked to him about running backs and realized we were right.
It
Saw the
wasn't
error of his
Joelmer, it was
ways.
someone else who was like.
I know.
obstinate
I
defending
just
him.
I threw that out there. I wasn't sure. Shut up. But somebody was.
So D+ for Sylvester and Quanteris. I'm not going any higher. It pains me to give him a D+ because I wanted to F this team so bad. But
Give him a C because I thought Sylvester Williams was like a top 15 talent, and I love the Quanteris Smith pick as well. And I like Tavares King a lot more than you. So C.
So we're at like an hour and a half. I should probably cut this into 2
Yep.
podcasts. So
Well, we finished the AFC, so yeah, we're good.
yeah. Alrighty. So
This has been Cam, Chris, and Alex talking football, and you know what? Give a donation to your local lore master. They need it.
I'm gay.
Kenneth Vaccaro isn't really that good, guys, because